Now it's time for I Challenge You, the show that goes to show that you can never fly too close to the sun. Hey, it missed there. Yo, wait, it does deal with Avramax. Like every progression series, I will start the episode by opening packs. Unlike other progs, the episode will then dissolve into full-on mechanized melee. In one corner, an army of Windbot AIs, with an arsenal of progressively more powerful decks. In the other corner, my own Windbot, wielding whatever garbage Twitch chat and I can put together out of our packs. Our bot gets 2 best of 3s per episode to beat its competitor and climb its way to the top of the ladder. If it wins, it gets a shot at the next challenger. If it fails, chat can throw it a gift to help it out next episode. The odds are against our digital champion, so it's our job to scheme, metagame, and do everything in our power to rig the match. So without further ado, get ready to rumble! And welcome back to I Challenge You, where last week last week was truly one of the episodes of all time, but today is the last opening that we get of the DM era. I have the ability to receive blessings again, but I have also, once again, somehow incurred the Wheel of Calamities, even though Ultimate Obedient Fiend was at 3 in every single one of our decks last week. How did we do it? I don't know, but I am looking forward to what we get on this Wheel of Blessings. Maybe, hopefully, a time machine so we can look for those Armed Dragon level 5s and Horus level 6s? Maybe? Yeah, spin a couple of times. Let's get something new. Ooh, okay. Card Trader is a fun one. I'm not sure if it's great for this particular episode, but what Card Trader does is I get to choose one card of any rarity and trade it in for a different card of the same rarity from the set that we open. So I get to do this once per set that we open today. So once for Rise of the Duelist and once for Flaming Eternity. I don't know what our options are going to be, but I'm excited to see what they are. But before we can do that, we have to spin the Wheel of Calamities. Here's the Wheel of Calamities. We've seen what we had to do last week. Hopefully we don't see another sleeper agent this week. All right, here we go. Are we going to get something new? Well, chat, you get to do it again. That's okay. Surely you will all come up with a better thing than last week. This week's packs do have a little bit of a lower power level than our last 2 weeks, but these will be very important to GX. Just to give you a preview of what I mean when I'm looking forward to GX, in GX we are going to be banning a phenomenal number of cards from DM, basically all of the good payoff cards that exist within the Duel Monsters era, and leaving all of the worst cards from DM in the same format as the worst cards from GX, and then we are going to restrict our opponent's decks to the same rules. So when we talk about cards that are going to be good in GX, that's what we're talking about, and Rise of Destiny and Flaming Eternity are both phenomenal for the GX rule set. Let's see what we can get. Starting with 24 packs of Rise of Destiny. Let's see if we can get the Creator. The Creator would be kind of sick. Perfect Machine King as our ultra rare. Yeah, I guess I did ask for that, but if we want the Creator, it is an ultra rare, and Perfect Machine King is also an ultra rare. We can trade this one in. Oh, here's Lighten the Load. Was looking for this card to deal with Ultimate Obedient Fiend last week. Covering Fire is also kind of a cute card that may be relevant in GX. Next pack, yo, there's a Dekuichi, a card that we probably cannot run because it's a flip effect monster. Once we get to Black Salvo, perhaps this will be the vibe, but for now, sadly, one of my favorite cards in Duel Monsters is unplayable. Rock from the Valley of Haze is kind of a pseudo-monarch, and that might be good enough once we get to GX. Next pack, Ultimate Insect level 3, continuing to get trolled by Ultimate Insect. There's the Creator Incarnate, that's a way that we can get Creator. And Moki King. Harpy's Hunting Ground, also fairly good. It's a little awkward because the AI is just going to keep summoning into it, but if we're against a back row deck, that could probably still be good. And let's be honest, in Harpy decks, you end up destroying your own Harpy's Hunting Ground all the time anyway. Expect Sasuke Samurai number 4. This card is actually kind of ridiculous. Our AI has historically been great with coin flips, and this is definitely a coin flip card if I've ever seen one. There's a second creator incarnate too. Dark Blade the Dragon Knight. Sure, we can summon that off a scientist. Xing Zhen Hu also is probably a pretty good card for us. It's a way for us to deal with multiple back row that doesn't necessarily wipe our own. I'm actually very happy to see this card. So we're just running a Machine King deck, right? We're just gonna run a Machine King deck now. And there's a Dekoichi and another Xing Zhen Hu. That's great. That's also our third creator incarnate and Moki Smackdown. There's our third Xing Zhen Hu. Also, we do need to be looking out for the Harpy Ladies. Obviously, we want 3 Harpy Lady 1, but the other Harpy Ladies aren't terrible if we can get to them, especially Harpy Lady 2. Oh god, another demonetization card. They had to include the uncensored Harpy Girl on here, didn't they? A third Dekoichi. I would be rolling in it right now if this were a real prog series, but that may become relevant in the finale. We have so many Dekoichis. This is by far the best card in this set, and this is actually kind of incredible. There's a Nightmare Penguin. We might want to see 3 of these, but realistically, that does require setting, and we know how the AI do when it comes to setting. An ultimate rare Flint. Yo, okay. Flint being an ultimate rare is actually pretty good because both the creator both the creator and Thestalos are ultimate rares. So we can get an ultimate rare off of this one, which is pretty good. Mom, could we have Charizard at home? Charizard at home. Next pack, a second machine duplication. This is really good. Also our third Harpy's Hunting Ground. We're doing really, really well in low rarity, which is unusual for us. Yo, is that a third perfect machine? God, if we were playing junior format, I would be unbeatable. Even more so than if we were playing in a real prog. So this is definitely the ultimate rare that we trade in, right? All right, last pack of Rise of Destiny. What will we close on? Another Covering Fire. Honestly, I will not say no to another Covering Fire. I'm not sure what our trade-in is going to be, but it's probably going to be one of our ultimate rares. I think probably the ultimate rare is going to go in for the creator because the creator is playable in GX where Thestalos is not. This is a little wild. As of Flaming Eternity, we are on our last set of the Duel Monsters era. This will be the last episode where I'm opening packs, and this is the last pack of DM that I'm going to be opening. Next episode will be the finale, which has some fun surprises waiting. But for now, it's time for us to say goodbye to this god-awful era of the game. God, I would love to see the chicken. Can you imagine if we pulled Nephthys? I would be so excited. There's Hand of Nephthys. Hand of Nephthys is a first art. Also, the Dark Hex-Sealed Fusion and the Light Hex-Sealed Fusion are interesting things to think about. If we have decks that can facilitate them, like we have main deck cards like Dark Blade that can go into Dark Blade the Dragon Knight, potentially a worthwhile strat in DM era. Next pack, another Spiral Shield Strike. Sure. Hyena is genuinely good though because it is 2 monsters for the price of 1, and Golem Sentry is great for a potential Pac-Man strat that we could set up. I do think that we have some cards that can facilitate Pac-Man even in the GX era. Next pack. Behemoth, King of All Animals is kind of sick, and I kind of want to keep it. This is the sort of card that I think I would like to see in the GX versus DM jank battle. Maybe if we get multiples like we did with Perfect Machine King, we'll actually have a good reason to run it. Insect Knight is cool, but I think we have it banned in GX. We'll see. It is a 1900 beater. His unmatched battle prowess is here. Another super rare in Blast Magician. This is one I am much more likely to break down for our Grand Mark. Have we gotten Spiral Spear Strike as literally every single one of our rares so far? Gearfried the Sword Master as an ultra rare. The pack opener is really telling me I'm going to have to make some decisions today when it comes to my card trader. I can't run this card. Second Hyena, though, is great. Chiron the Mage, also kind of sick. Good question, Austin. We should check and see if Chiron can target our own cards. Wait, it doesn't target our own cards. Chiron has to attack an opponent's card. Chiron is actually way better than Breaker the Magical Warrior. This is sick. Let's get 3 of this card. An ultimate rare Brainjacker next to the rare Brainjacker. We now have a playset of Brainjackers. Oh boy. This is what we've come to, isn't it? This couldn't have been Nephthys. This just couldn't have been Nephthys. It would have been too good if it were Nephthys. Golem Sentry, a second copy of that is very good. Ultimate Insect level 5. Sure, I can get that level 5. Swords of Concealing Light is actually a really, really good card. I am glad to see a copy of that and would love to see multiple others. Another Blast Magician. Another Blast Magician. This set does have a Monarch in it. It really does. I promise you, there is a Monarch in this set. Shadow Slayer. Hey, there's Rescue Cat. Rescue Cat is a great thing to see. We don't have things like Wicked Worm Beast to make it like a really worthwhile card, but once we get into the 5Ds era, this card is probably going to be definitely worthwhile. Probably, definitely. This card's good. Another Swords of Concealing Light is great. I am glad to see 2 copies of that card. If I can see the rest of the cards being like either this or Chiron the Mage in the rare slot, I'll be happy. Last pack of Flaming Eternity, last pack of today's opening, and the last pack of the Duel Monsters era. What can we get? Jackal, beginning just as we ended with nothing. Let's see what we can come up with. But first, let's see what we're going to trade for. Having done our opening, there are a couple of things that stood out to me, namely 2 really garbage ultimate rares that I got, which is great because I get to trade them in for better ultimate rares. These 2 sets actually have a large number of cool ultimate rares. For instance, starting with Rise of Destiny, we have cool ultimate rares such as the Creator and Thestalos the Firestorm Monarch. We also have terrible ultimate rares like Chainburst. I'm going to trade Chainburst in for the Creator. I think this card is cool. I'm going to be banning Thestalos in GX anyway because the Monarchs are too powerful in a GX format. The Creator at least has a cost to summon, and so I am keeping it in the format, and I am going to be putting it in my collection today. Let's get rid of this Chainburst. And then from Flaming Eternity, we have Brainjacker, a garbage ultimate rare that I am adding immediately to the trade binder. And in its stead, I had 2 phenomenal options. I had Granmarg the Rock Monarch, the only Monarch I don't intend to ban for GX. And I have another card. The Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. I have always wanted to own this card ultimate rare, and I guess virtually is going to have to do. This week, our sleeper agent options are actually interesting. Perfect Machine King, a card I have 3 copies of, has some gameplay around it. I could make a Reasoning Gate deck. I have a very funny idea with the Creator. Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys is just a sick card I would love to run, but probably wouldn't otherwise against this current ladder. Moki Moki is god-awful, but at least I have a plan. It's something that I can use as a metamorphosis target, and I think that'll help us with Ordeal of a Traveler. Monster Reborn is Monster Reborn, and a fascinating choice. We always have one choice on here that just baffles me, and then one of each of the Harpy numbers as an option. So Harpy Lady number 1, Harpy Lady number 2, and Harpy Lady number 3. I don't think that quite follows the rules of Sleeper Agent, but honestly, when it comes to this submission, I don't care. Chat, you have 1 minute to vote for your choice. It is a dead heat between Perfect Machine King and Nephthys, but Nephthys is going to lose out to Perfect Machine King. I was expecting this today, but it's still wild to see both Perfect Machine King and Nephthys were cards that I was expecting to potentially play around. Let's see what we can do with this one. This is gonna get weird, folks. You know, I actually really liked last week's format of running things. I kind of like the idea of running against 2 audience decks, and if I can beat both of them, getting the shot at getting the crap beaten out of me by an actual ladder deck. And so I'm just adding that feature to the series. So today we're going to play up against our first audience ladder deck. Then if we beat that one, we go up the audience ladder, and if we win again, we can take another shot at Avramax. Our first deck this week was submitted by, let me open the thing, Links-A-Lots, and it is called the Power of 2. This deck is a Spright deck. Kind of. It runs a bunch of level 2 dudes to go into Gigantic Spright and Spright Elf, and then it just keeps me out of the game with Burden of the Mighty and Level Limit Area B, and uses dumb stuff like Dracoback to win the game. This deck looks incredible, and I'm really excited to see things like Enchanting Fitting Room resolve in the same deck as Spright Gamma Burst. And with that in mind, let's check out our new deck. Oh yeah, Chad is also pointing out every card in this deck is at 2. Just gorgeous deck building. Well, with my having pulled 3 copies of Perfect Machine King, and chat having chosen for me to run 3 copies of Perfect Machine King, it's time for me to run some Perfect Machine Cope. Today we're playing a Reasoning Gate deck? I'm not sure if this is actually going to do what we want. I am so excited to see what the bot does with this deck. It's got a couple of techs to deal with the particular floodgates that the Power of 2 deck has access to. Things like Spell Purification, which can destroy all face-up continuous spell cards. Surely that won't interact poorly with Premature Burial, right? And then it also has Spell Canceller, a card that I pulled way back in Magician's Force and have been excited to try out ever since. The goal here is to use Reasoning to get into some of our big old dudes that we have access to here. Basically a Highlander deck, because this is a who's who of all the big cards I've always wanted to run and haven't gotten the opportunity to. Our Nephthys with the option to run Hand of Nephthys to summon it, a few copies of Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke to give us a light target worth banishing off of Chaos Sorcerer and just a pretty big guy, and 2 Sangans to sacrifice off of our Monster Gate. I'm excited to see how this runs. Realistically, though, I have few expectations. Honestly, I couldn't possibly predict what this deck will do. I gave chat an option of biblical portions. Today, we play as Goliath against David. David, the little guy, the level 2s versus Goliath, the Perfect Machine King. That's how the story in the Bible went. And it seems that they're a little bit on the side of the way things went in the story of yore, but I believe that we will come up on top of this story this time. We have the power to change history, because, you know, we learned last week that hubris never has any consequences. Let the games begin. All right, starting off hot with Reasoning, let's hit a big one. Level 10 is great for us. Don't like to see Monster Reborn build off the top, but I love to see the end of Anubis, and I love to see Ordeal of a Traveler. These are 2 of our best cards in our deck. It's sick. Dust Barrier is a little bit rough, but we don't have to affect our opponent's monsters with effects as long as we have the biggest guy in the room, which is what we've got right now. The End of Anubis is especially incredible against this deck exactly because of its interaction with Spright Elf and with Florette de Fleur, which would summon from the graveyard but cannot because of the End of Anubis. This is incredible. This is perfect. Enchanted Fitting Room. This is a little bit rough for us. They will be able to go for their Spright combo with all these level 2s they're going to get. They're going to hit 2. They're going to go for Gigantic Spright. However, Gigantic Spright is going to get linked off into Spright Elf, which does pretty much nothing on our field because of the end of a new... Oh, wait a second. Because it didn't activate. Okay, we've got this spell cards. No! Oh, God. Because we couldn't resolve Spright Elf, they had to summon the fucking Gigantic Spright with 3,200, and we missed Ordeal of a Traveler. Oh, no. This is not great for us. Fortunately, they detached Elf for the Spright, the Gigantic Spright, which meant that it got smaller, and they decided to link it off because these AI decks can absolutely be trusted with link monsters. We go for spell cards, we hit a trap. This is excellent. Perfect for us. Ordeal of a Traveler, can we get... We're just going to keep hitting the same copy of Call of the Haunted, aren't we? This is truly incredible. We get to pre-mat back. This one end of Anubis is going to carry us all the way to the bank. Perfect Machine King. Let's go. Perfect Machine King is too strong. The tribute summoned Perfect Machine King. Chat, this is a double tribute worth summoning. He is perfect and he will carry us across the finish line. Uh-oh. That's okay, Sacred Phoenix of Death. This is just the lineup of all the hype monsters I wanted to see this episode. The bot is gifting us the ability to see every single one of them in one duel. Fortunately, the Hand of Nephthys can't tribute off the second Nephthys since we only have the one in deck. This is looking pretty good for us. Dust Barrier does jack all for them here. This deck is looking significantly better than I expected it to. Lighten the load, send back Invader of Darkness. We don't need it. Tribute summon the second Perfect Machine King. Truly incredible stuff, folks. Lighten the load. Let's see what we're sending back. We're sending back the Creator. Gotta summon that off of Ringside. Delinquent Duo for 1. Just to flex on him before we attack in with Perfect Machine King. The machine is perfect. Easy clap, game 1. Easy clap. Let's go to game 2. All right, we're starting off with a hot pass. That's not a good sign. We have just passed. We had literally nothing activatable in hand. Not ideal. That could have been better. They get the Enchanted Fitting Room. They get Spright Elf. They get to activate Spright Elf, bring back their 2, go into Gigantic. Gigantic is going to summon from deck to... detaching the Spright Elf because they're just determined to not have a monster with 30. Oh, they just went right back into Gigantic. Oh, this is bad for us. Oh, this is really bad for us, actually. This is... Oh, and this time they didn't detach the elf. Okay, I see how it is. Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke going to be the first to go. Fortunately, as long as we keep setting monsters, they're going to keep attacking with Gigantic first, which is great for us. We're going to summon Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke. We're going to lighten the load. Thank God we have that card in our hand. Please get us the reasoning here. We're going to summon a second Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke. Why not? Fortunately, again, they're detaching for the Spright here, which means that they don't have the biggest monster they could work with. If we can set a decent guy, or at least get a big dude on the board, we'll have something to work with here. A Malice Dispersion, sorry, a Spell Purification would be great. We're lightening the load. Great. Sangan, normal summoned, will actually take out one of their monsters. We've set a backer, which is not ideal because of the... What? The hell was that card? What the hell was that card? It is the 5-headed Link Dragon. Oh, no. All right, game 3. They're just not going to... We're just going to see cards we can play game 3. That's all that's going to happen. We will simply see cards we can play. They're starting off with Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity. Lovely that this deck gets 2 of these. Florette de Fleur will bring back the Bite Lawn. We're going to go for Dracoback. That's huge. Level Limit Area B, also a problem. Spright Elf, not so much of a problem. They've basically given us the opportunity to out their entire board. We're going to do the Spright Elf combo that eventually gets us into a Gigantic Spright, except we're not going to go for the second Spright Elf, interestingly. I guess we couldn't have done that there, which means we couldn't summon the second Gigantic. Perhaps we'll have the opportunity to get rid of this level limit this turn. Monster Reborn to bring back Gigantic. Wait, this is 5-head. Gigantic Spright on our side of the field is a 2 with 1600 attack. We can do this. Monster Reborn may actually bring it through for us. We're going to overlay for the second Gigantic Spright. Will they crash? They will crash. That's perfectly fine for us. They've gotten rid of 2 of their biggest threats against us. We just need to find that copy of Spell Purification. We're going to send back the Song of the Thunder. Wait, we don't need Spell Purification. We have the Spell Canceller. Way better than the Spell Purification. Oh, now it's over for them. This card is so cool. We really are getting to see every card I've wanted to see in this series all in one match, aren't we? We're going to go into battle phase with the Spell Canceller, and I don't think there's anything their deck can do against this. Perhaps a Draco back to bounce it back, but I'm not sure they're going to be that smart. That's okay, we're bringing back the spell. We have End of Anubis on the board. We had End of Anubis on the board, and it negated Privat, and now we're going to summon our End of Anubis back. No, we're summoning back Spell Canceller. Wait, the AI figured it out. The AI has figured it out. We are back on the board with Spell Canceller. Let's go. Let's just keep this up. We have to just keep this up for a couple more turns, just 2 more battle phases maybe, and we can take it through. We've got this. We're going to get through this one. They've passed again. Okay, 1 more monster. Give me a Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke. Okay, we're keeping the Spell Canceller. As long as we keep the Spell Canceller, we're in good shape. Come on. Come on, we can do this. Come on, we can do this. We just need 1 more attack. 1 more attack with Spell Canceller. 1 more. Wait, we can do this. Just don't tribute summon. Whatever you do, do not. Yes! Spell Canceller took us all the way across the finish line. Let's go! How did that work out? What was the rest of our hand just big dudes that we couldn't lighten the load for? Was that the entire rest of the hand? Oh my god, what a match. Oh, we are going to take that replay. All right. Let's get out of here. We don't need to see any more of that. We've seen what we need. We won that match. Well, I'm happy that we got out against the Floodgate deck, but today we have a second deck on the horizon. One of the things the bot is uniquely bad at is producing extra deck monsters. It will go for the wrong ones. It'll try to do too many in a turn if it's got link monsters, but this deck, Villain of the Week, is just meant to put 1 extra deck boss monster on the board every turn. This deck looks like a mess, and it is, but what else is new on this series? I'm excited to go up against this one, and of course, we are running it back. We've made a couple of modifications to the deck. We took out the cards that were only good against floodgates, things like Malice Dispersion. I keep calling it that. It's Spell Purification. We took out Spell Canceller. It did its job, and now it can have a wonderful retirement. And we replaced the Spell Canceller with another meme card, Moisture Creature, because why not? And we brought in Delinquent Duo, because we can now, and a couple of copies of A Hero Emerges. We noticed last game that we bricked a little bit on big monsters in hand. This will help us not brick on monsters by giving us the chance to summon one of them from the hand. Is this good? It never is, but I'm excited to see it play. Kings, queens, and monarchs of every element, I have asked chat to tell me who's winning the Torkoff. I can't be normal about this. I can't do a normal prediction, apparently. We got our Moist King versus the Dry Villain, and it seems we barely missed the mark on getting the funny number on this poll. 68% of them voted in favor of the King Borger bot. Let's see if we can pull through versus the Villain of the Week. All right, we have lost rock, paper, scissors. I still don't know what that means for us. It's probably better because they're going first. They're normal summoning Sazank. That was definitely a make no mistake. I'm the better duelist here. Normal summon Maneater Bug moment. Reasoning calls 2. I don't have a 2 in my deck. Lighten the Load is going to get us a draw. Plus Reasoning for 8. we hit Sangan. Sangan is perfectly fine. Kind of wish we'd used that Lighten the Load before we resolved either of our reasonings, but we've managed to summon 3 monsters this turn, which is pretty good for us. I love the interaction between Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke and a Karakuri monster. Main phase 2, we're just going to pre-mat back the Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke. I feel like this is a pretty good board. As long as they don't put out a gigantic boss monster, we're in probably pretty good shape. I'm guessing that face down is a hero emerges. Were I a betting person, that would be what I would say. Lightening the Load is going to put back the moisture creature. We're going to draw and we're going to resolve our Nephthys. Nephthys is such a sick card in this context. They're going to send off of Imairuka. I don't know what that actually accomplishes, and we've just got big guys on the board. The bot is a coward now and is going to start setting back row. I'm not sure what they have in terms of comeback mechanics in this deck. We're going to tribute summon the Jackal King. Let's go. Put it back in their deck. Oh, we are really getting to see every single one of my favorite DM boss monsters this episode. Our childhoods rejoice. We're going to put back Despair from the Dark draw card into Pot of Greed. We draw, we discard. Oh, we discard Monster Reborn. Not ideal, but you know what? I think that our Jackal King is going to do just fine on its own. They're just going to keep setting monsters, and you know that's perfectly fine by us. It does kind of prevent us from doing anything because we don't really have a lot of monsters to attack into them with, so we're just going to keep destroying their monsters and sending them back to the deck, but eventually, surely, we will draw into something we can activate and resolve. Only having the 3 reasoning does put a little bit of a damper on this strategy. We do have the pre-mat here to bring back our Hand of Nephthys, awkward choice, but we're gonna monster gate it away for the other Nephthys. Despair from the Dark is the tribute summon. What was that series of plays? I don't understand what's going on here, and neither do the bots. They get to resolve Reckless Greed, but it is truly reckless and truly greedy. Despair from the Dark is on the board. We have now seen every single one of our boss monsters except Sangha of the Thunder. That's what I'm rooting for this episode, that we get to see Sangha of the Thunder. All right. Draw for turn. Let's see what we can get. Lighten the Load is going to put back an Invader of Darkness. Love to see that get put back, but Despair from the Dark is good enough. It's just Despair from the Dark versus Sangan versus the world. They'll never figure it out. Ordeal of a Traveler. They're going to call trap cards and they're going to hit the Perfect Machine King. You thought you could beat a Perfect King? Come on. We got to tribute summon the Perfect Machine King for the win. Of course, we have to lighten the load, but we're putting back the Moisture Creature. We didn't need it, I guess. That's fine. The Buzzkill. This is another one of those decks that I feel like we just kind of destroyed. Let's see what they can do game 2. All right, Pot of Greed drawing us 2 cards. Reasoning going for 6, hitting pre-mat called Haunted, and there's the Sangha of the Thunder. We have officially seen all of our boss monsters this episode. Let's go! Sangha of the Thunder on the board off of Reasoning. That's sick. They're going to call spell cards. They, of course, going to hit the Perfect Machine King, as they always were meant to. Dust Tornado will take out the second back row. That's got to be a hero emerges. Of course, it is Reasoning. Okay, hit something sick. There's Guardian Angel Joan, which we will, of course, tribute off for the Perfect Machine King. What else would we have done with a turn like that? We attack in with the Perfect Machine King, attack in with Joan. We are... How have they not played any of the 6 cards in their hand, right? Like, I feel like they have to have resolved something. I vetted these decks ahead of time. It has a strategy in there, but it is struggling against just summon big guys turbo, I guess. This is a little bit of a beating we're doling out here. I think that we have a very good chance of getting to go up against the ladder. Guardian Angel Joan ending us on 12,200 life points. Truly incredible. And y'all know what that means. It's time for the ladder. Well, we've done it again, which means it's time to take it back up against Scrap Rose Synchro. We are bringing back a legendary Lukunga, a fan favorite. We brought up the Lukunga game. We have upped the number of Lukungas, and we've also upped the number of Mother Grizzlies. It turns out Yomi Ship might be kind of a cracked target against Avramax, since Avramax is not immune to destruction in a deck that doesn't make IP Masquerena, and Yomi Ship doesn't target. We have to, of course, run the Perfect Machine King, so we are still running our Reasoning Gate-esque strategy, the triple Reasoning, the double Light and the Load. This time, in addition to the Light and the Load and our Perfect Machine King, we're running a copy of Suijin, which, if we do get Legendary Ocean onto the board, is unbelievably powerful against this deck. It basically blanks a battle against one of the opponent's cards, and that's good enough for me because it can be Tribute Summoned for 1, and a copy of Go Giga Gaga Gigo, because it's a water guy, and sure, why not? This deck looks unbeatable. Let's see what we can do. Chat doesn't seem certain about this one. I gave them the question, Lukunga? And their answers were 56% Lukunga. But 44% of them voted Lukunga! And I'm with those people. Let's see if we can beat the Scrap Rose Synchro deck once and for all. All right, starting off with the hot rock, paper, scissors that we won. I'm not sure that that's a good sign. We do want to get monsters on the board, though, which is great. We've started off with Legendary Ocean. And you know what? Mother Grizzly isn't a terrible follow-up for that because it can access Yomi Ship. Mother Grizzly is going to be face down with the Scrap combo. Scrap Wyvern is going to bring back Scrap Recycler. This is how they put Avramax on the board usually. But this time they didn't open with the full combo, which means that they didn't get the ability to put Hulk on the board. And honestly, Hulk is their main access to Avramax. They're just going to have the Scrap Wyvern, and if we get a monster that we can summon, we can probably out that on the board. Yomi Ship, I suppose, counts in this case. If they get a second monster, we can deal with it. It's not great letting Scrap Wyvern live for an entire turn, but we can deal with it. They go for Goblinberg. They're using up a lot of cards in hand, but here comes Hulk. Hulk is really bad for us. This is the source of exactly Avramax. They're going to use Avramax to attack into Mother Grizzly. Unfortunately, that means they're not attacking into Yomi Ship. Perhaps the AI is wise to Yomi Ship's capability to know. No, wait, Perfect Machine King had 3,200 attack points. It's a normal summon that could deal with Avramax. That's still gonna lose us the game because now they have Borreload, and Borreload could go for a 4-mat with the Avramax. But you know what? At least it was funny while it lasted. This is not great. Borreload is very, very strong against our deck, especially since it got there before Ordeal of a Traveler. Ooh, this is a little bit ugly. Perfect Machine King did not do us well here. You know, maybe we should have put more copies of Light in the Load in the deck. Oh man, Borreload has never been that threatening to us before. Borreload has usually at most had 2 materials because it's usually been summoned with Avramax on the board still, but this time we managed to out the Avramax and we were left with a Borreload. Not ideal. All right, game 2, we got it this time. We will simply activate Ordeal of a Traveler before they get Borreload. We're just going to mill all of our good cards off the top, and we're going to sacrifice for a Giga Gaga Gigo and then pass. Foolish Burial, ooh, that gets them the Jet Synchron. This does make it... Oh, this is the Avramax combo. This is just the Avramax combo. Unless they choose not to go for the Jet Synchron this time around, which would be great for us. They didn't go for Jet Synchron. We can actually out this right now. This board is absolutely beatable for us. I know that their back rows are just Solemn Strikes, which we're not going to resolve because we aren't going to have monsters that activate their effects on the board. They're going to summon a bunch of guys, but none of their guys actually deal with us. Yomi's Chip outs the Solemn Strike, which is kind of nice for us. This may actually be the board that wins us the Papaguska. Well, Here's good old plan B. Fortunately, we have a fairy box. Raigeki is kind of bad for us, but they're not going to be shifting monsters to attack, and next turn they're going to lose out on the Baguska, which is pretty good for us. Now we have a Mother Grizzly, which holds field presence, especially with fairy box on the board. As long as we resolve this fairy box once this turn, we're probably in pretty decent shape. The only thing we really need to worry about is the Avramax itself, but as long as this Mother Grizzly goes for the Yomi ship, even Avramax isn't a problem for us. We're going to flip for fairy box, we're going to call heads, we're going to get heads, and this pretty much keeps our board for the turn. We call tails, we hit tails. We're just dealing damage right now. This Mother Grizzly is the best card in our deck at the moment. Mother Grizzly is going to get in over the Rose Dragon, and honestly, fairy box is probably better than an Ordeal of a Traveler would be in a similar situation. We're going to summon back the Scrap Recycler. We're going to just keep doing this thing. And honestly, we just, you know, we miss the fairy box, but this gets us Yomi ship. No, it gets us another Mother Grizzly. We have the confidence to go back into the Mother Grizzly. We're still in this game somehow. Lighten the load is great. This is going to put back that perfect Machine King that's obviously in our hand and give us a Legendary Ocean. A Legendary Ocean is extremely strong for us here. Okay, all right. I'm digging this, as long as they just keep resolving Scrap Wyvern and not doing anything real with it. World Carrot Weight Champion may deal with Mother Grizzly unless we call tails right every single time. We're so good at this game. Heads, not so much, but we summon a Yomi ship and we're still in this game. We just need to draw into a monster that does something. If we draw into something like a Gagagigo, or if we can draw into a Ordeal of a Traveler's okay here, I guess. It's not going to do much because we already have Fairy Box on the board and we know that we'll only resolve the Fairy Box, but we only really need to resolve the Fairy Box. They take 1600 and we win off the defensive Yomi ship. Let's go. We're still in this. I love that we've managed to at least take one game off of them every single time. Game 3, I believe. Do you? Okay. Foolish Burial. This does put Scrap Recycler away, but Scrap Recycler isn't their ideal card here. Hulk, however, is absolutely their ideal card. They're going to go into Shooting Riser Dragon. Shooting Riser Dragon gives them their draw. Rose Dragon is going to put stuff in the graveyard, and now they have Bahamut. Bahamut isn't as difficult to out as Avramax, but it's still pretty annoying. They've got a full field. All we need is the one trap card and the one spell card, and we can out this entire board. Hulk is going to go for the Sinker of Coral Dragon, but Coral Dragon honestly isn't a threat against our deck. We're going to put back Perfect Machine King because of course we're going to put back Perfect Machine King, and we're going to normal summon Gagagigo. Let's go. And we're going to just crash into the plant guy, but we have Ordeal of a Traveler. As long as that last card in our hand is Metamorphosis, we're guaranteed to win this. They call monster card. We hit, oh no, it's Terror King Salmon. Oh, that's really, really bad for us. Fortunately, we will be able to normal summon Terror King Salmon next turn, and hopefully we find an out to goddamn Bahamut. Reasoning is not going to be an out for it, but Perfect Machine King is a big-ass dude. These are not machines, and therefore Perfect Machine King isn't going to be as big as we need it to be. This might actually just be a wrap, folks. We do not have the way of resolving Ordeal of a Traveler. Maybe we wanted more fairy boxes. Maybe we just wanted more fairy boxes. I'm kind of feeling like fairy box was the plan. I still think we're in this. Well, this got weird. I think we probably have a plan this time. I don't know, folks. I am really deep in the tank on this one. So this is Kelbeck control, I guess. The theory here is that our floodgate cards, things like Ordeal of a Traveler, Fairy Box, and Begone Knave, are weirdly good against their decks. They summon guys, they attack into us, we flip cards, usually they work, but they don't always get us the full distance. If our guys lose, or if we lose our coin flip, or if they call Ordeal of a Traveler correctly, then we're in a little bit of trouble. We don't get anything out of it. But if most of our guys either float, more on Manju later, or send one of their cards back to the extra deck, then we're in very, very good shape. We basically have outed their monster even though we lost the fairy box or the ordeal of a traveler. So I think that it is perfectly fine, honestly, to cut out all of the nonsense from our reasoning gate strategy and just focus on the little guys and perfect Machine King, and also Lava Golem. Lava Golem over their monsters plus a Kelbeck is basically build your own Luna Kaiju, and that's kind of okay. And to close it all out, we have double Royal Oppression. If we resolve Royal Oppression before they get to go off, we have basically won the game. Royal Oppression doesn't work against our recruiters. It does work against Reasoning and Monster Reborn, but the chances that we use up a Reasoning and or a Monster Reborn before we hit our Royal Oppression are very, very high. The other thing that we have teched into here is probably the worst set of techs I've ever seen in my life. Manju plus Sonic Bird in order to get Hamburger Recipe, which we cannot activate. A crucial thing for us to have because this version of the AI always calls Monster against Ordeal the Traveler. If we can get at least more spell cards than we have more monsters in our hand, it turns Ordeal the Traveler back into a good card. I think as far as decks that are required to run Machine King, this is probably the best chance we're ever going to get. Let's get into the game. I asked chat, how will Avramax look in the face of our bounce your cards deck? Their options were Avramax or Avramid. 55% voted in favor of Avramax, and I think that's pretty good money. But I also think we put together probably the most unfun deck I've ever seen to beat them. Let's see if our metagaming will pay off. All right, we have lost rock, paper, scissors. That's not ideal if we've opened Royal Oppression, but it does... Oh, we're just going to go first anyway. They called 10. They're going to give us Giant Rat. We've got our second reasoning. We are summoning every monster in our deck. We are also milling every spell trap in our deck as well. We just cannot draw into Pot of Greed, can we? We opened Royal Oppression and Ordeal of a Traveler. Come on, tell me that's Hamburger Recipe. Oh, shit. They have Raigeki'd our board. We're getting to use Royal Oppression, which is kind of cute. Their monster is not terribly good. We're about to see, it's the Hamburger Recipe! We're bouncing them back! If we don't draw a playable monster, we're still in pretty good shape because they can't special summon and we still have Ordeal of a Traveler to work with. Oh, but there's Fairy Box. Ooh, for the Nombo. They're going to go for the Scrap Recycler and we're going to Royal Oppression it. This is working out great. We're still going to take damage here, which is not great unless we hit heads, in which case we don't take damage. Can we draw into a level 4 monster? It's most of our deck. There's the Kelbeck jump scare. Let's go. Now we've set up basically an unbeatable board, haven't we? As long as Fairy Box gets its effect and Royal Oppression negates the Goblin Fairy. Let's go. Working exactly as intended. Now we just have to start dealing damage to them to make up for the damage we've been taking consistently this game. They have charge at the Light Brigade, which will get them the Raiden. Raiden is pretty good into Kelbeck here, but if they special summon a monster, we're in good shape. Come on, Fairy Box. This one's a crucial one. Tails. We called Tails. We got Tails. Let's go. It's all working out. Folks, it's all working out exactly as planned. Manju is going to give us the second Hamburger Recipe just to make sure we don't draw it, but also in case we end up resolving another Ordeal of a Traveler. We have pretty much an unbeatable board now. They have to beat our monsters twice, and all they have to do it with is a Raiden. Come on, we gotta call the Fairy Box again. We called heads, and we got tails, but the Kelbeck is going to bounce it back, which means that our Manju stands alone. If we draw into a normal summonable, we have won the game, and that's a normal summonable. Yomi ship, Manju of the 10,000 hands. It's working, folks. That's one game down, one game to go. All right, game 2. They haven't made us go first. That's probably smart considering they now know we have Royal Oppression in the deck. I say about the AI that almost certainly doesn't know anything about our deck. They're getting to go the whole 9 yards here, which is a little concerning. I am not going to lie. If we haven't drawn very well, we're in a little bit of trouble here. The good news is Omega kind of doesn't accomplish anything here. Monster Reborn to get back their Raiden, sure, why not? Oh, they banished the Royal Oppression. I do not like to see that. Do we have a way of getting more guys. The ride in here was not ideal, but if that's an ordeal of a traveler, we're in extremely good shape. I don't like the milling off of Raiden. Begone Knave is kind of ordeal of a traveler. I'll take it, I suppose, here. And Begone Knave, if they summon any guys, will take their board presence away so that Royal Oppression is effectively live again. We're going to put back the Coral Dragon. We're going to put back the plant guy, but we're still in trouble without a way of winning battle. Lava Golem is bad here. Royal Oppression is even worse here. Lava Golem going to deal 1,000 to them. We're going to take all of the damage in the world. Oh no, Lava Golem did not work out in our favor this time. That's okay. We still have game 3 to work with. Come on. We've metagamed this deck to perfection. Can going first give us the dub? We are not going first, but they only normal summon a monster. If we can establish board presence, Raigeki is pretty good for doing so. If this is Ordeal of a Traveler or Fairy Box, Ordeal of a Traveler is great. Hopefully at least one of those cards is the spell card that we need. Ordeal of a Traveler is going to call monster. We're going to hit a Yomi ship. But if this is a Kelbeck, it doesn't really matter, does it? We can normal summon the Yomi ship next turn, or a Manju Seju or Sonic Bird. A Yomi ship is perfectly fine. We can lose the Ordeal of a Traveler and be perfectly A-OK under these circumstances. They're going to send a card off of the Scrap Recycler. If they get to summon some dudes, that's probably perfectly fine for us. They're going to go for Scrap Wyvern, and as long as they only get one big extra deck boss this turn, we're in pretty good shape because Yomi ship will take care of it. Ordeal of a Traveler, come on, show us the hamburger recipe. Ooh, it's the perfect Machine King. That's not great, but Yomi ship still deals with the threat. Ordeal of a Traveler will hit the Kelbeck. Kelbeck is really good here, though, because it does out the O-Lion and provide another threat on board. We are behind on life points, but not for much longer. Kelbeck deals with the O-Lion, gives them a token, but even if they summon a pretty big guy, we're in okay shape. Especially if they go for an extra deck summon. That's what we really want to see, is for them to go into the extra deck here. Halka Fibrax is honestly great for us because it means that we are going to be able to out their big extra deck monster. Not that big extra deck monster though. Oh, that's honestly terrible for us. We've drawn an absolute brick hand. Ordeal of a Traveler, come on, hit. Not looking good for us, folks. Fortunately, they did put their token in defense, which is okay for us, and that's a Lava Golem. We know that 2 of our cards in hand are our big bunguses. We're going to sacrifice off their monsters for one of them, the Lava Golem, but that still leaves us with no monsters on the board. Lava Golem maybe not the best tech for us in retrospect. If we have Hamburger Recipe in hand, there's still a chance for us. We just need to hit it once. It's the Manju. Oh, not normal summoning the Manju last turn is going to end up killing us, isn't it? I thought we had it this time around. The idea was good, but the execution was not. We did not see all of our back row this time. We just saw the 20 monsters. Unfortunate. Well, try as we might, we still haven't managed to beat the ladder. It's been a good run for us, but it's time for DM to end. We have arrived at the finale, and boy, do we have some things in store for you. Potentially multiple episodes worth of content. You're gonna have to stick around for this one, and this time, I think we're going to beat the ladder.